And welcome, everybody, to this 2009 Texas Bowl as the Navy Midshipmen take on the Missouri Tigers out of the Big 12. A boisterous crowd on hand here at Reliance Stadium. I'm Mark Jones along with Bob Davie. Quint Kessenich down on the sidelines joining us in just a few moments. Bob, let's take a look at the headlines. First of all, for Missouri, playing for its third straight bowl victory.
Well, Mark, most people thought this would be a rebuilding year at Missouri after losing 6 NFL draft picks. As expected, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster, but they finished strong, winning their last 3 games. They ended up with a 9-4 record, have a lot of young talent. The future's bright at Missouri.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the field, Navy coming in 8-4, the little school that did.
Well, no longer can you consider Navy the underdog, regardless of who they play. This is their 7th straight bowl game. The triple option gets a lot of attention, but this may be the best defensive team Navy has had. Mark, trust me, nobody wants to play Navy. They are tough to beat.
Defensive coordinators having cold sweats. Hello, everybody. I'm Mark Jones, along with Bob Davie. Quint Kessenich joining us down on the sidelines in just a few moments. From all of us here at ESPN to all of you at home, season's greetings. As you can tell by the booth, Bob, as we close out the decade, pretty snappy, isn't it? We see a little bit of old school versus new school football with these teams.
You're right. I mean, these two teams are similar in several ways, though. First of all, they're both used to winning. I mean, Navy's been to 7 straight bowl games, Missouri 5. They both have a lot of players from the state of Texas. I mean, Navy, 28 guys from right here. Missouri, 31 players from Texas. But on the field, Mark, you said it. I mean, they're exact opposites. Navy, triple option. Ricky Dobbs, the quarterback, doesn't throw it much. Missouri, spread offense. Blaine Gabbert doesn't run it much.
Teams got down here a day after Christmas, and right now, after all the fun, it's time to get down to business. And you mentioned the quarterback for Navy, Ricky Dobbs, a very dynamic player. He has very good passing skills, even though he doesn't throw it that much. Set a record this year for touchdowns by a quarterback. And meanwhile, his counterpart, Blaine Gabbert of Missouri, completed a little over 60% of his passes through 23 touchdown tosses against just 7 interceptions, and he had a major effect on their success in the stretch run of the season. For more, let's go downstairs to Quint.
Thanks, Mark. I think the biggest question mark in today's game is, can Missouri stop Navy's option? And with that in mind, in our discussions with Gary Pinkel, Missouri head coach, 3 things stood out. First of all, Missouri in their bowl preparation went full pads, full speed, full tackling, full chop blocking. Their scout team was really allowed to go at their starters to better simulate the option offense. Second thing you're going to see from Missouri today, multiple fronts on defense. They'll start this game in their typical 4-3, then they'll shift into a 3-4 defense. That is a scheme that they picked up from the Army-Navy game as those 2 option teams went head-to-head. And the last thing you're going to see, pre-snap movement. And what that's meant to do is confuse quarterback Ricky Dobbs and make his reads that much more difficult. Mark?
You know, Quint, there were 8 other teams this year that felt they had a pretty good game plan against Navy until they ended up on the short side of the decision. Head coach of the Naval Academy, his 2nd year, Ken Niumatalolo, a native of Hawaii, former assistant coach at the Naval Academy under the former head coach Paul Johnson, also coached as an assistant at USC for some time. Off to a very good start in his 2nd year. And he says that this year's team has been extremely special right from the opening kickoff a few months ago against Ohio State, when the bar was raised by their great performance. You might have heard the flyover just a few moments ago. Ceremony's concluding at midfield. And former President Bush in attendance today. 41st President of the United States watching the game today.
Mark, one thing, anytime you get Navy in a bowl game, they bring a lot of people. I mean, they've averaged 21,000 tickets sold for their last 7 bowl games. They are very attractive for any bowl selection committee, I promise you that.
Well, it's funny, their followers really transcend all the state lines and all the boundaries, because in a very big way, they are America's team.
Yeah, and 750 midshipmen have traveled down here on their own taking time away from their Christmas break. And you know what? These guys don't get many free days now, days off, but 750 of them came from home to watch their midshipmen play today.
Bob, Navy's going to kick off to start this game. Navy winning the toss, deferring to the second half. Missouri will receive. Jasper Simmons back deep for the Tigers, along with Kendall Lawrence. There's a look at Simmons as we're about to get underway in this, the fourth chapter of the Texas Bowl.
Navy, Mark, they have really struggled in kickoff coverage. So it'll be interesting to see here if Missouri can get some kind of a good return.
A short kick down at the 10. Simmons still on his feet. And Simmons brought down at about the 38-yard line, where it'll be first down and 10 for Blaine Gabbert. A lot of people amongst the coaches feel that he progressed faster than they thought. Originally the starter from the start of the season, and he really has lived up to all the hype. Completed a little over 60% of his passes with 23 touchdown tosses on the season. And you'll see that customary spread offense. They come out in an empty formation, 5 wideouts on 1st and 10.
That's not the triple option wishbone right there, I promise you.
Gabbert completes his first pass. That's Andrew Jones. And Jones is pushed out of bounds just beyond the 40-yard line, about a 3-yard gain on the play as we take a look at the starting lineups. Derek Washington is the team's leading rusher, number 24. Last 3 games of the season, he's really hit stride. There's a look at the rest of the skill players. And keep an eye on Denario Alexander, number 81. We referred to him just a few moments ago. And this is Alexander with his first catch. This is what he gives you. Yards after the catch, and a lot of them. Happy New Year, Missouri. On the second play of the game.
Well, you can see why Denario Alexander leads the country in receiving yards. Missouri comes out the first 2 plays of the game, screen passes, and he got excellent blocks by his tight end, Andrew Jones, and his wide receiver, Wes Kemp.
For Alexander, that's a school record 14th touchdown catch of the season. And in a blink, Missouri out to a 7-0 lead on the 58-yard catch and run.
Mark, nobody throws more screen passes in the country than Missouri. And anytime you throw the screen passes, you have to get your wide receivers blocking. Right here, he's going to get an excellent block by the wide receiver, Wes Kemp. And right here, the tight end out in space, Andrew Jones. And then the rest of it is Denario Alexander.
He's a guy, Bob, that's been on fire the last several games coming down the stretch run for Missouri. And as you noted, good blocking on the edges there.
And Jared Perry, the 3rd block by a wide receiver down the field.
Alexander coming off a game against Kansas, their last regular season game of victory. In dramatic fashion, he had 15 catches for 223 yards and a touchdown catch.
Coming back home. Young man from Marlin, Texas. And the game plan against Navy's defense, Mark, you always want to spread them out, get the football out in space, and make them tackle in the open field. And that's obviously what Missouri tried to do on those first 2 plays.
Here's the kick. A short one down at the 16. That's Bo Snelson. And Snelson's going to be brought down just side the 25-yard line, 1st and 10. And now we get a look at Ricky Dobbs, starting quarterback for Navy. Dobbs, as I mentioned, set a record with 24 touchdowns this year. Touchdowns by a quarterback. We'll see how they respond here after being stung on the first 2 plays of the game.
Always in bowl games, offensively, you do something a little bit different early to throw that defense off because of all their preparation time, Mark. You always want to throw them a little curveball to get those defensive players saying, man, we practiced for 4 weeks, but we didn't see this before.
Yeah, we heard Quint detail Missouri's defensive approach to this. 1st and 10. There's a look at the option. Nothing different about this, Bob Davie. Their bread and butter, the 4th most prolific rushing offense in the country, picks up 9 on that play, and a nice block by Bobby Doyle. Here's a look at the starters.
This Navy offense, not great stats this year, Mark. I mean, they're 84th in the country total offense, but they still dominate the flow of the game because they are 5th in the country in time of possession.
2nd down and about 1. Dobbs on the pitch. Good block on the edge, and a 1st down at the 38-yard line by Corey Finnerty. Ball handling, Bob, so important when you talk about Ricky Dobbs and making those decisions with the ball.
One thing I can see, Mark, the way Missouri is aligning, Navy's going to put that ball out on the perimeter. Watch the slot come chop the safety right there. Right there. Missouri playing kind of a rotation coverage. Look for the football to get out on the perimeter, making those safeties have to come up and play run support.
First and 10 from the 38. Dobbs to pass. Fires a dart complete. And another Navy 1st down at the 36-yard line. Marcus Curry with the catch. You know, Ricky Dobbs was a shotgun quarterback coming out of high school. And they pick up 26 after that nice pass.
Mark, you remember the first game of the year back in September. And I came to you at night. We had a night game. And I said, I watched Navy Ricky Dobbs play today against Ohio State.
You liked him. You were high on him right from the beginning.
Immediately. Yeah. Maybe the best throwing quarterback I've seen Navy have. Obviously a great runner, but this kid can throw the football.
You faced a bunch of Navy quarterbacks before, too.
You look at Missouri lining up there, just 4 across the board in the secondary. Those safeties don't know which way the option's coming until that ball's snapped. And then that safety has to come play run support. That's not easy.
Deep into the play clock. They just got it off. Dobbs keeps it this time. And Dobbs still on his feet inside the 30. To the 28-yard line. He picks up about 8 with that chunk.
Yeah, good lick right there by Weatherspoon, the outstanding linebacker from Missouri. And Mark, I promise you, defensive players, particularly playmakers like this guy, hate playing against this offense. It is totally foreign to them.
They talk about it taking your instincts away. What do they mean by that, defenders?
Well, it's all assignment football. You have to try it out, execute what Navy does. The problem, Navy executes it 365 days a year.
Dobbs going to look to pass again. Has a man. A little bit of contact and no flag. Incomplete harmlessly in the end zone, intended for Mario Washington.
Yeah, that was an excellent job by Kevin Rutland on Mario Washington. He was locked up in man-to-man coverage, which is sometimes the easiest thing to be in against some of these option passes. But a great call by Ken Niumatalolo because it sets up 3rd and 3. You know they're going to go for it on 4th down if they don't make it on 3rd down.
Dobbs looks over to the sidelines. On 3rd and 2. Quick toss. Nice run for the 1st down by Corey Finnerty again. And they move the chains. Let's take a look at our impact players in this game.
Well, for Navy, it's obvious, Mark. It starts with quarterback Ricky Dobbs. I mean, he's their #1 rusher, but more important, he's the player everyone rallies around, a natural leader. Fullback Vince Murray, probably the surprise of the year for Navy. And then on defense, Sean Weatherspoon, an outstanding linebacker who's back home today in Houston.
Yeah, talked about the 31 players from Missouri back in their home state. 1st and 10, Navy.
Navy now coming with a little bit of an unbalanced line.
Ball put on the ground, and Missouri says they have it. Tiger football. Above that offense does have a lot of moving parts.
Well, Mark, they've only had 12 turnovers all year. I mean, they're number 6 in the nation in fewest number of turnovers. That's uncharacteristic.
Fumble recovered by Marcus Malbrough. And a promising drive dies at the 20-yard line. And welcome back, everyone, to the Texas Bowl. And a look at the sidelines. Ken Niumatalolo, the head coach of Navy, getting into his players a little bit about that last fumble. 11:25 to go. A promising drive by the midshipmen, terminating at Missouri's 20-yard line. First down and 10 coming back the other way for Blaine Gabbert. They scored on their first possession in 2 plays. Let's see what they do here. Derek Washington on the reception. And Washington with a first down at the 36-yard line. Let's go down to Quint.
Mark, Coach Niumatalolo came right over to Ricky Dobbs and was angry. He said, we have got to take care of the ball. We have 0% chance to win this game if we turn the ball over. He says, either give it or keep it, but you got to be decisive.
I mentioned, Bob, that there's a lot of moving parts in that offense.
Well, yeah, he was trying to read the defensive end. Missouri, on the other hand, Mark, 3 plays, 3 screens.
That pass incomplete and almost intercepted by Kwesi Mitchell. Intended for Perry. Let's take a look at the Navy defensive alignment.
Yeah, and really, statistics don't matter. What you've done throughout the season on defense. Sack totals don't matter. When you play in a bowl game, Mark, it's really like the first game of the next year. And for Navy right now, it's all about being spread out, making tackles in open spaces.
On the run, this is number 26, Devon Moore. And Moore picks up about 4 at the 39-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and about 6 to go.
You watch this Navy defense. You know, they're 104th in the country in sacks. They're 120th in tackle for losses. So there's no negative plays. I mean, they're basically a 3-man rush team, drop 8 in coverage. So it's maximum coverage. A lot of 2 deep. Right here you see them in a 2 deep, kind of 6 under coverage.
Out of the shotgun, another empty formation. Gabbert with plenty of time. Gabbert with good wheels, pushed out of bounds. Short of the first down at about the 39. Tony Haber, the first one to get there right there, number 50. No gain on the play. And it's 4th down coming up. So Navy defensively gets a stop.
Yeah, and you see Navy's philosophy defensively. 3-man rush. They're not going to play man coverage. They're going to drop 8 into coverage. I think that's why Missouri will come back the next series, Mark, offensively and run the football. Let Derek Washington carry the football against that 3-man front.
Blake Harry going to punt now. Roll out rugby style from zone 27. And it takes a Tiger bounce, and it's really going to get a fortuitous roll all the way down to the 10-yard line. A 51-yard punt, about half of it after the bounce, and Ricky Dobbs back out on the field for the offense for Navy.
You know, we talk about things of the last decade, spread offense. We have to throw a rugby punt in there as well. You know,
that's trendy. Yeah,
this is trendy now. And that was key for Navy, Mark, because as long as Navy stays only 1 score down, even 2 scores down, they stay totally in their comfort zone with this offense. So a big stop by the Navy defense.
First down and 10 for the midshipmen from their own 10. Dobbs kept it himself, picked up a yard on the play. Ricky Dobbs, number 2 in the country in touchdowns scored coming into this one with 24 on the season.
And it's amazing when you talk about Ricky Dobbs, you know, was a shotgun quarterback in high school. You mentioned in Douglasville, Georgia. The people in that town loved him. I mean, this kid has been a natural leader since junior high school.
2nd down and 9. He has some really huge aspirations and ambitions too.
Right now it's making a 1st down. He'll put that wanting to be president of the United States on hold for a while. Huh?
Hey, he at least completed the pass this time. Out to the 17-yard line to Nick Henderson. And Henderson about 3 yards short of the 1st down. Yeah, Bob, you mentioned his potential presidential campaign. Ricky Dobbs says that he wants to become the president of the United States in the year 2040.
Well, I was with 2 midshipmen today, just students at the Naval Academy. One of them was his navigation partner in class. The other was his chemistry lab partner in class. So that kind of says also about what these Navy guys are all about now.
Vince Murray with the run for the 1st down. You saw the 41st president of the United States, former President Bush, on the sidelines watching from his booth, and the former ultimate commander-in-chief.
Yeah, he better be careful if he really wants that job. I'm talking about Ricky Dobbs. Yeah, be careful what you hope for, huh?
I don't know, Bob. I don't know about you. I didn't have a lot of chemist buddies and engineering buddies in college. 8:16 to go in the 1st quarter. On the quick toss. This is Curry, Marcus Curry, with a nice run out to the 35.
You know, Mark, I think one thing for people that haven't watched a lot of triple option football, Navy, Georgia Tech in particular, it's by no means a gimmick offense. It's all about finding out what you're in, adjusting your blocking scheme, and out execute. There's no gimmick or trickeration to this.
An 11-yard gain on that last play. This offense still seen by many as a great equalizer. And when we look at the respective size of the players on the field for Navy and Missouri, you see why. Dobbs on the pitch this time. Finnegan lowering his hat and making it out to the 43-yard line. He picked about 9 on the play.
Mark, everybody talks about the chop block. I'm going to show you right here. I want you to watch the slot. He's going to arc out and he's going to chop this safety right here. That's the toughest thing about playing this. You have a safety who's a little bit late getting started. Then he has to play through that blocker and make a tackle. That is very, very difficult.
Navy's been able to move the ball here in the early going on the ground.
Mark, they're going to move it just based on the way Missouri is aligned right now.
Dobbs keeps it himself, cuts back, still on his feet. Ricky Dobbs brought down after the 1st down at the 33 by Kenji Jackson.
Well, Weatherspoon, Sean Weatherspoon, we talk about guys playing out of their comfort zone. Watch Sean Weatherspoon right here, Mark. Plays a little too soft on the quarterback. Ricky Dobbs cuts it back up inside. Now, it's been a long time since Sean Weatherspoon has had to play or slow play a quarterback in the triple option. He's a great player, an NFL player, but trust me, he does not like doing this.
Yeah, Butkus finalists aren't used to playing this kind of football. On the quick toss, this is Green. And Green brought down to the 26-yard line. But another decent gain by the midshipmen that gets 7. Quinn talked about it. Gary Pinkel's defense in practice. The scout team ran the Navy wishbone offense with 3 different footballs, actually. And the defense was expected to tackle each rusher at once.
The thing I notice about Missouri, they're playing a total read scheme. They're not coming down hard, crashing, trying to make plays on the quarterback. They're trying to read it. That's really tough against a high execution offense like this.
Dobbs on the toss. That's Finnerty. And Finnerty close to the 1st down. Looks like he got it. At about the 22-yard line, he picked up 4 on the play.
You know, interesting about Ricky Dobbs, and this sounds funny to people, but Navy coaches say he is not a great option quarterback. You know, not tremendously instinctive of when to pull it, when to keep it, when to pitch it. He's a little better on the predetermined stuff, probably because he was a fullback at the Naval Prep School. You know, he was a shotgun quarterback in high school. He hadn't done this all that much.
On a pretty steep learning curve. They give it to the fullback this time. Number 47, Vince Murray, who needs only 75 yards coming in to reach that 1,000-yard mark plateau. And Bob, I noticed with the fullback in this formation, he's really almost right behind the
really
quarterback.
Tight,
literally
Mark.
tight.
Yeah, it really is, and it's amazing. Like you said, so much of it is just about the start. You know, the quick start. And Vince Murray's really been the surprise of this football team this year. Averaged 77 yards a game.
Second down at about 5. Dobbs to pass and overshoots his intended receiver, Marcus Curry. It'll be 3rd down and 5 coming up for the midshipmen.
Yeah, good pressure. Xavier Gooden, a freshman outside linebacker that time. But again, play call dictated because it's a 4-down offense. You know, no one goes for it on 4th down more than Navy, which is similar to all these triple option teams.
3rd and 5.
Again, Navy in an unbalanced formation, Mark.
Dobbs keeps it. Still on his feet. Nice hand walk to get down to about the 12-yard line. He picked up 6. And he got the 1st down. Ricky Dobbs again.
Yeah, again, Smith, the defensive end from Missouri, had the quarterback, but Ricky Dobbs ducked up inside.
The 12th play of the drive coming up for the midshipmen. The toss. Curry. And pushed out of bounds at about the 3. Marcus Curry with an energetic run. He picked up 9.
Yeah, Navy that time gave up some penetration. I believe it was Alden Smith, number 85, had a chance. This guy's going to be a player, Mark. Just a freshman, 6'5", 255, had an outstanding season, 11 sacks, 18 tackles for losses. But man, Alden hadn't seen this kind of offense before.
2nd and 1 coming up.
We talked about 2 different offenses. Missouri quick strike, throwing the screens. Navy just methodically executing down the field.
2nd down and 1 coming up when we come back to Reliance Stadium in Houston. That could be a couple of Naval Academy guys in a few years. You never know, Bob Davey. Look at the NASA headquarters located here in Houston. So these midshipmen, they split molecules and atoms in their spare time.
But I'll tell you what they never forget, Mark. That plebe summer when they first show up, that 6 weeks that ends in August, they never forget that now. That's when they get their mind right.
Ricky Dobbs stopped and keeps going. Lunging forward, he's going to be marked short of the end zone by about 6 inches. Alden Smith, Bob, the guy you were talking about a few moments ago, made the stop on the play.
Well, I think the thing you see is how strong Ricky Dobbs' lower body is. And, you know, it's amazing. I mean, this guy's playing with a cracked kneecap. Won't make it worse, but there's a lot of pain involved. I mean, this guy has a cracked kneecap.
1st and goal. No signal yet. And they're going to mark him short. He didn't get in.
And I'll tell you what happens, Mark, because I've been on that other sideline playing against them. Missouri's offense is standing over there. Look at the look on Gary Pinkel's face. This is frustrating. They don't have the ball. So what's going to happen here? It's going to end up probably 7-7 here, but Missouri's offense starts panicking a little bit because of the flow of the game.
You mentioned they were one of the national leaders, Navy was, offensively in time of possession. This is the 15th play of the drive coming up.
Yeah, in time of possession, Missouri number 5, Navy number 5, Missouri 105th.
Dobbs keeps it. Touchdown, Navy.
And really all it is, It's a quarterback isolation play, Mark. He fakes it to the fullback, then follows the fullback in. And how about this Navy offense already with 146 yards total offense in the first quarter?
Certainly not having any problems moving the football.
And what's so frustrating, you work all that time as a Missouri defense. You mentioned, Quentin mentioned full speed practices, changing your scheme. And all of a sudden, those players are looking at the coach and saying, Coach, what do we do next?
In the immortal words of Mike Tyson, everybody's got a great game plan until they get punched in the mouth. Ricky Dobbs with the first score for Navy in the ball game. And Coach Niumatalolo feeling it.
Are you ready to go? Are you ready to go?
Welcome back, everyone, to Houston and Reliance Stadium. And look at some of the naval officers that made the trip here for the bowl game. They travel exceptionally well. Sold more than their allotment of tickets to this one.
And I'll tell you what, days off for these midshipmen are like gold. And, you know, the superintendent okayed it that the football players can come back on January 10th instead of January 8th like the regular midshipmen. And those 2 days for guys that are at academies, those are huge. So I applaud the superintendent now because they give up a bunch of days practicing where those other guys are home.
There's Lawrence on the return for the Tigers. And hit at the 18. Actually, that's Jasper Simmons. And Gabbert comes out 1st and 10 from there. Well, Capital One Bowl Week continues on ESPN tonight. Virginia Tech facing Tennessee in the Chick-fil-A Bowl. The Capital One Bowl Week on ESPN and ESPN360.com tonight at 7:30 Eastern Time. What else is new? Virginia Tech in another bowl game.
Well, how about this formation right here by Missouri now? They've got 4 receivers out here to one side, only 1 on the other side in an empty formation. And then the big splits by the offensive line. But there's such a temptation to throw the ball on Navy. To me, Missouri's going to have to get some kind of running game. I mean, look at this front that Navy's playing, Mark. Only 2 guys with their hands on the ground. Here comes Derek Washington back into the backfield.
Pass complete to Denario Alexander. Alexander with a little bit of room and lunging forward near the 30. And he got enough for the first down. Pospill making the stop.
Denario Alexander, we mentioned from up the road in Marlin, Texas.
You ever recruited there?
I have. A lot of times when I was coaching at A&M, and actually I drove through Marlin on my way to Dallas-Fort Worth, but he's all of 6'5" now, Denario Alexander.
He just set a school record in the process for career receiving yards. Gabbert doesn't know what to do with it, and he's sacked back to the 24-yard line by Pospisil. A little indecision costing quarterback Blaine Gabbert that time.
Well, Mark, what happens on that little decide play? You come out and you have the option to throw the bubble screen, but Navy kind of cat and moused them. Look at Pospisil, the linebacker, number 51. I mean, he is a great story as well, Mark. Young guy from Temple, Texas, which plays some great high school football. They say he's one of the best captains ever at Navy.
Leading tackler this year on defense. 2nd and 15 coming up. That was his 3rd and a half sack. That pass incomplete, intended for Derek Washington. And this Missouri offense a little bit disjointed on the last couple of plays.
Well, the frustration level, Mark, I can't emphasize enough, when you're standing over there on that sidelines and Navy's keeping that ball away from you, this is exactly how Navy plays it.
3rd down and long coming up for the Tigers. This looking once again like basketball with shoulder pads, Bob Davey. Everything spread out in a big way. Gabbert downfield and almost intercepted by Merchant. Emmett Merchant had it go right through his hands. But the Tigers again forced to punt.
Mark again, drop 8. That time Navy with an excellent opportunity for the turnover, but still momentum clearly on the side of the Naval Academy.
1:42 to go in the first quarter. Mario Washington back deep, standing at his own 40 for Navy, and Blake Harry with another punt. Harry's done a nice job punting low snap. Against Kansas in their last game, he had 3 kicks go inside the 5-yard line. Not a great effort on this one. It's going to be down at about the 40. A 36-yard effort. Well, from coast to coast, you can now get the latest news on the teams you care about the most. The power of ESPN covering the Boston, Chicago, Dallas, and now Los Angeles sports scenes. The inside info you're accustomed to now with local flavor. It's ESPNLosAngeles.com, ESPNChicago.com, ESPNBoston.com, and ESPNDallas.com. 1:30 to go here. Navy 1st and 10 from their own 40. Good starting field position for the midshipmen. Dobbs keeps it. Did a nice hand walk and stopped up at about the 44-yard line. Bob, we were talking during the last commercial break about the way Missouri was lining up. What do you see in the way they're lining up defensively?
Well, Mark, they're playing a total read scheme. I mean, they're lining up in a 4-3 defense. They're not really attacking any phase of the option. They're really trying to out-execute Navy, and that is really, really difficult. I mean, it's hard to out-execute a team that runs it so well. I think you have to attack it and force the issue a little bit.
Dobbs looking to pass here and finds his receiver for another first down at the 47-yard line. That was Marcus Curry. Let's go down to Quint.
Mark, behind the Missouri bench, I think the Missouri offensive team is starting to realize that they're in for a fight. Their offensive line coach, Bruce Walker, just threw his hands up, got in his line's face, and said, guys, this is going to be an all-day game, so you better get that through your mind. Navy is here to fight, and I think that is just getting through to these Missouri Tigers.
Yeah, good point, Quint. Got a new offensive coordinator this year for the Tigers, Dave Yost. Dave Christensen has moved on, now the head coach at Wyoming. 33 seconds to go in the first period. Dobbs keeps it and falls forward to about the 44. A 4-yard pickup. Jock Smith there to make the stop for the Tigers. And up until last year, there's a look at Dave Christensen on the sidelines. Up until last year, Coach Pinkel didn't have a solitary coach leave him, and last year he had 2 that moved on. Well, Dave Christensen, now the head coach at Wyoming.
Done a great job at Wyoming. You know, I was visiting with him before the game, and he said, man, it's fun to come to a game and not have to coach, particularly coming off a successful season. That makes it even more fun.
The first 15 minutes in the books here in Houston, Texas at Reliance Stadium in the 4th edition of the Texas Bowl. Navy and Missouri tied at 7 apiece. Explosive offense against old school offense. More of that when we come back. Back at Reliance Stadium in Houston, Texas, I'm Mark Jones along with Bob Davie and Quint Kesnick. 7's on the board between Navy and Missouri. Navy with the football, 2nd down and about 6 to go. Ricky Dobbs under heat, and he's sacked back at the 48-yard line. Aldon Smith got there first. Talked about him being the best pass rusher defensively for Missouri.
Mark, I talked about attacking the wishbone. Watch this time. Missouri comes up and pressures. They get out of their 4-3, and they do some line movement. They bring the outside linebacker and also Aldon Smith, 85. That time they gave Navy a different picture than what they lined up in. That movement is the thing they have a difficult time with.
Makes it a 3rd and long now as a result. Dobbs on the pitch. Green, and he's tackled that time by number 11, the strong safety, Jarrell Harrison. And it's 4th down coming up. The midshipmen will have to punt.
Yeah, Missouri with 2 junior college transfers at the safety position. Jarrell Harrison that time from San Francisco City College, enrolled last January. That was an excellent play. Jasper Simmons, the strong safety from Hutchinson Junior College, but that big sack, the line movement by Missouri, forced a negative play.
Carl Geddes standing in his own 10-yard line. Noah Hook with the punt. And Geddes calling for the fair catch at about the 9-yard line. Nothing on the return after the punt of 39 yards. Reese Davis, Happy New Year, buddy. Back to you. Missouri with the football, first down and 10 with 13:35 to go in the first half. I'm Mark Jones along with Bob Davie and Quinn Kesnick down on the sidelines. A great day of college football here on ESPN. After this one, it's the Chick-fil-A Bowl with Virginia Tech and Tennessee. Right now, the Tigers first down and 10 from their own 9-yard line. You're looking into the eyes of quarterback Blaine Gabbert.
Say Missouri refuses to run that football now. I mean, they're going to give you the 5 wide look here. They bring Devin Moore, the running back in the backfield.
And Moore on the carry. Nice gain of about 8 on the play. It'll set up a second down and 2.
Mark, I think you have to run the football. I mean, look at the front Navy is playing. I mean, I'm talking about, you talk about some craters in there. 2 down guys. They've got the nose guard standing up. I mean, you cannot let them play that front. They're in it again.
Bob, you always taught me you got to look for the bubbles when you want to run the football. There's a lot of bubbles out there for Navy defensively. And another run by Moore for the first down with just under 13 minutes to go. Just getting underway here in the second quarter. He picked up 5.
Mark, that's stealing. That's stealing. I mean, Missouri takes those big splits, those 2 defensive ends from Navy spread out with them. And, I mean, you're licking your chops if you're back there in the backfield. I mean, look at this. That's kind of inviting, isn't it, to run the football against that?
Just 2 down linemen. They run it again. And a nice tackle on the play. Nechak makes the stop for Navy.
Yeah, I mean, Matt Nechak just whips Elvis Fisher, the left offensive tackle guy from Missouri. 26 straight starts. Nechak at about 245 pounds.
Guy that's endured 3 different surgical procedures, limited practice time for most of the year, but out there getting it done on that last play. Second down and 8 coming up for Missouri. Gabbert incomplete. Tried to throw that little receiver screen to Alexander. Alexander took one of those for a 58-yard touchdown earlier in the game. Third down and 8 coming up.
Frustration, Mark. See that look on his face right there, Denario Alexander.
Hey, what about Coach Pinkel? He couldn't even get his own father on board in terms of cheering for the Tigers. His dad, a former veteran. Coach Pinkel called his father when the bowl matchup was announced, and his father answered by saying, "Go Navy." George Pinkel.
Navy again in a 2-man, 5 underneath coverage this time.
On 3rd and 8, incomplete. Intended for Alexander. Should have been caught. Hit him right in the hands.
Yeah, Kwesi Mitchell, the cornerback who's in there as kind of a nickel back right now, breaks on that little option route, and I go back to the 2nd and long. Well, that's a great break on a ball, but the ball bounced right off his chest.
Blake Harry into punt now.
Patience if you're Missouri. There's nothing wrong with running the football against that front, Mark.
Wow. A line drive rocket punt that goes out of bounds at about the 25-yard line. Well, ABC will throw both the Rose Bowl game and the City BCS National Championship game your way. First, New Year's Day, the Ohio State Buckeyes take on the Oregon Ducks in the Rose Bowl game presented by City. Then Thursday, January 7th, the Texas Longhorns face #1 Alabama in the City BCS National Championship game. Rose Bowl game presented by City and the City BCS National Championship game on ABC. Look at the respective quarterbacks in the Ohio State-Oregon matchup. Terrell Pryor saying that he's a little nicked up these days. First down and 10 for the midshipmen. The give is to the fullback, Vince Murray.
You know, Mark, what happens back to Missouri's offense? You know that if you can get ahead by 14 points or 21 points, the game's over because Navy can't play catch-up. So when you get the ball, you want to score so fast to take Navy out of their comfort zone that you abandon the run. But actually, that plays right into Navy's hands because they're going to drop 8 into coverage. So you have to be patient and run the football against them.
Dobbs keeps it again. Lost his hat and is brought down at about the 33. Picked up 3 on the play. Sean Weatherspoon making the stop for Missouri. There's a look at Weatherspoon, and the Butkus finalist, graduated in 3.5 years. A real bright player defensively for Missouri.
You talk about Denario Alexander from Texas, Sean Weatherspoon from Texas. Missouri's 2 best players, Mark, both come up to Missouri, graduate in 3.5 years. You talk about recruiting now. You walk back into the homes of kids in Texas, your 2 best players both graduated in 3.5 years. That's a heck of a selling point for Gary Pinkel.
Certainly is. 3rd down and 3 coming up. A little pressure coming, and Dobbs incomplete. Had his man open at the 38 for the 1st down. It was intended for Marcus Curry, and instead Kyle Delahook will come into punt.
Yeah, Mark, football really, I think, should have been caught. Marcus Curry, probably their best athlete, and has had some injuries. Little bit surprised at that call right there on 3rd and about 3.5. I thought they'd run it. Maybe give him a chance to go for it on 4th down.
Carl Geddes standing at his own 28 for Missouri. They come after it. Almost got there, and a great kick by Delahook. Geddes pushed out of bounds at the 21, a 47-yard punt. And 1 on the return. 1st and 10 for the Tigers when we come back to Houston. Wow, that's what you get when you're in Texas. Some good barbecue, and you're looking at Jim Good Barbecue. I think they had a barbecue rib eating contest amongst the many festivities between the players here. That plus a touchdown dance contest they had between the offensive lines from Navy and Missouri. And mascot roping, Bob. You got to run it by the coaches, right? Derek Washington on the run. Over the left side, gains about 3 on the play. Missouri got off to a great start this season, Bob, when you look at the fact that they were 4-0, and then they started to slide a little bit, lost 3 straight games. That coincided with Blaine Gabbert's ankle injury, and it really made him a better quarterback, though, down the stretch.
Yeah, you know, I think so. And first of all, you talk about Missouri, Chase Daniel, who played quarterback, it seemed like forever at Missouri. They lose him. They lose Jeremy Macklin. I mean, Blaine Gabbert is going to be a big-time quarterback. And this guy right here now on this screen pass is a weapon.
He put it on the ground. Navy says they got it back. But fumble.
Line judge ruled that down.
If it stands, it'll be a 16-yard gain on the play.
Yeah, Mark, clearly he had possession of that football. Wyatt Middleton came in there and knocked that ball. He was on the ground.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. And 13-yard gain. Ball at the 45 now for the Tigers. Alexander, though, limped off the field after the play. This is Lawrence trying to get to the edge, and he's brought down at the 48. Now back to Alexander, him limping off the field. Remember that Denario Alexander, albeit a great explosive athlete still, had 3 different knee operations over a 13-month period. So certainly a point of concern for the Tigers if he's on the sidelines after he limps off.
Mark, he actually had 3 surgeries on that left knee. It looked like his right leg was bothering him there, but you know, he's regained so much confidence in that knee. Was really the reason I think he's gone on and had just an unbelievable season.
Agnew was the intended receiver on that last play, incomplete. Let's go downstairs to Quint for more.
Well, Denario's going to be okay. He's put on his helmet right now. Came off, didn't really get any treatment from the trainers, just kind of stood around and loosened his right leg, but he appears no worse for wear. Back in the ball game.
You know, I'm sorry.
The amazing thing is Denari Alexander led the nation in receiving yards, yet he didn't even make the semifinalist list for the Biletnikoff Award, which is awarded to the top receiver in the country. That is a puzzling consequence. 3rd and 7. And Gabbert's going to be sacked. Tigers forced to punt. Michael Walsh, the first one there defensively for the midshipmen.
And we talked about, Mark, in the open a little bit about how the Navy offense gets all the attention because of the triple option. But really the reason this Navy team has won this year is because of their defense.
And Bob, you talk about the unique quality of the midshipmen. Michael Walsh, number 78, right there on the sidelines on the last play. In March, he'll report to Quantico and begin his career in the Marine Corps. A lot of these young men moving on to real significant futures. And that punt called for the fair catch at the 18-yard line. A 38-yard punt, nothing on the return. Midshipmen and the Tigers locked up at 7 when we come back to Houston. Tied at 7 here in Houston, Texas. I'm Mark Jones along with Bob Davie and Quint Kesnick down on the sidelines. 7:53 to go in the first half. And when you talk about the Naval Academy, you talk about a special, unique group of student athletes. Young men and women serving their country while playing varsity athletics. Dobbs got the toss-off in time to Jones, but they're going to rule that Dobbs was down. They're going to say that his knee touched.
Yeah, Mark, great penetration up front by Missouri. They had their reverse called. Let's see if Ricky Dobbs was down. Wow. That is bang, bang, huh? They ruled him down on the field.
That's a good call.
Yeah, Sunbelt officiating crew, Sunbelt replay. Yeah, his knee is down before he tossed that football.
2nd and 13 as a result. Pass complete. Up to the 28-yard line. As we go inside Davy Jones' locker, not many student athletes have to wake up at 5:30 in the morning. Then have their meal from 7 to 8, 4 hours of classes, then eat again for an hour, and then more classes. Talk about engineering, navigation, and then to the football field. It's a different place, isn't it?
Totally different, Mark. And what a lot of people don't realize, some additional things as well. They have more coaches. They have 11 full-time coaches, where NCAA rule is 9 full-time coaches. But even more than that are the number of players they have.
There's a toss as they try to outnumber Missouri, getting the edge out to the 37-yard line. And there are some special NCAA exemptions for the academy.
Right, Mark. I mentioned the number of coaches, but really the reason they have more coaches is because they have more players. You know, every midshipman, talking about the general population at the Naval Academy, are on scholarship. So there's no 85 rule. You can have as many players as you want.
How does that help them?
So they'll have 165 or 170 players, and I think it really helps because they're an option offense, a triple option. You know, they'll have 2, 3, 4, 5 scout teams. And it really reminds me a lot of Nebraska. You know, when Tom Osborne was at Nebraska and started that walk-on program, Nebraska, an option team that utilized all those guys.
That pass by Dobbs, incomplete.
And Mark, that, you know, people around the country may say, well, you know, how's that an advantage? It's an advantage when you're an option team because it's execution. And they can't go out and practice half speed and walk through things. They have to execute that option full speed, where you have to have someone to go against. So when you have unlimited players, it's an advantage. But I think it's a great advantage to help Navy and keep them competitive, and they do a tremendous job coaching.
There's Dobbs showing that execution with a nice gain and run. Ricky Dobbs near the first down at the 48-yard line. Picked up 11 on the play. Got a nice block from Bobby Doyle on the play. And we have an injured player. That's Geddes, the cornerback for the Missouri Tigers. All in all, the numbers, the number of coaches, when you get back to Navy, Bob, it adds up to a pretty successful year for the midshipmen.
It really does, Mark. I mean, they do an incredible job. And Ken Niumatalolo, really his background, you know, at Hawaii, played quarterback. Paul Johnson was the offensive coordinator. Ivan Jasper, Navy's offensive coordinator, played at Hawaii for Paul Johnson. So that Paul Johnson coaching tree, triple option football, alive and well now.
There's Coach Jasper up top in the booth. Coach Niumatalolo down at the sidelines, 44 years old, of Polynesian descent. First down and 10 after the last run by Ricky Dobbs. Ball at the 48-yard line.
Navy kind of a little check with me, looking over to the sidelines, getting the checks from the sidelines, Mark. Kind of a page out of that spread offense manual we see around the country.
Dobbs on the toss. Another first down and a nice run. Number 28, Marcus Curry, moving the chains again for the midshipmen.
Mark, again, I go back to the option. Corey Finnerty, the slot back. Watch him right here, I believe. He's going to arc out and eventually get the safety blocked on run support. Navy rotating their coverage. Right there comes the chop block. Navy late to the point of attack, trying to rotate that secondary on flow.
They give it to the fullback, the first guy through, Vince Murray, as Dobbs handed it off to him. You know, you talk about real leadership, and every one of the players on that Navy team is a leader in their own right, but Ricky Dobbs has a special quality that not many players have. You know, as an illustration of that, as a monument to his leadership, you know, during the summer drills and workouts, Dobbs's entire company showed up for one of the workouts in support, and they all worked out with him. He's run the ball 15 times for a total of 62 yards, has the only touchdown for the midshipmen in the game. Dobbs on the toss. That's Finnerty. And Finnerty close to another first down, but there's a flag down on the play.
Yeah, Ricky Dobbs checking versus that Missouri blitz, and he had both slot backs in motion that time. You don't see that very often either. You know, you go back and you look at penalties, and you would expect this, Mark. Navy #1 in the country in fewest penalties. Only 3.5 penalties a game, but that time trying to get that thing checked.
That was the first penalty today. 5:10 to go. The ball back at the 40-yard line now.
You talk about Ricky Dobbs. I mean, he's just one of those guys, Mark, I think everybody rallies around.
Makes a good decision on the toss, and a nice tackle that time on the play by number 11, the strong safety, Harrison. A 2-yard gain for Navy.
Yeah, again, Jarrell Harrison, the junior college safety out of Las Vegas. They changed up their run support, Mark. They brought Harrison clear from the backside. They were actually in man-to-man coverage, and it confused Navy on their blocking out there on run support.
3rd and 10. Dobbs completes it. Inside the 30 to the 29, Finnerty, and he's a couple of yards short of the first down. 4th down coming up after the 9-yard pickup. And Bob, you've said it before, this is a 4-down offense.
No-brainer, Mark. I mean, they've gone for it 25 times this year on 4th down. They've converted nearly 70%. So no-brainer.
Got to get just beyond the 28. Dobbs checking at the sidelines. On the toss, one got a beat, and Finnerty got the first down on a nice move in space.
Yeah.
He picked up 3, and Jasper Simmons missed the tackle.
Yeah, Mark, you said it. Jasper Simmons up there tight to the line of scrimmage, got outside instead of staying inside and forcing the ball carrier outside. Watch him overrun it. Slips, but never really broke down in a football position. Again, Navy converting on 4th down.
1st and 10. Dobbs off the fake, looking downfield, and incomplete at the 8-yard line. Threw it behind his intended receiver, Greg Jones.
He had Greg Jones. Greg Jones was open, the fastest wide receiver out of San Antonio. Threw it behind him. And Mark, you talk about the academy. The Navy coaches told us Greg Jones almost went home. Came back to fall camp. Was going to leave because after your sophomore year, you have to make the decision. If you enter classes your junior year, if you go to a class your junior year, then you are obligated to stay and fulfill your 5-year commitment. So that sophomore year going into your junior year, guys got to make the big decision.
And the wheels start turning, and the wheels churning for Vince Murray. Some tough sledding inside. He got about 3 on the play. Murray approaching the 1,000-yard mark for the season. And, you know, you talk about that, Bob. Ricky Dobbs himself even admits that after his freshman year, the prep school year, he thought about whether he really belonged at the Naval Academy or not, but he stuck it out, and he says he's very glad that he did.
And you can leave the first 2 years, but if you leave after the 2nd year, you've got to fulfill that 5-year commitment.
3rd down and 6. Dobbs still on his feet. Oh, he looks like a magician out there. Presto! Fumble! Touchdown!
Mark, I think that call is going to be overturned.
One of the officials ran in signaling touchdown.
I fumbled that football, and Missouri recovered in the end zone. Yeah, Kevin Rutland, 20, came in, stripped it out.
Former President Bush, an interested onlooker.
Yeah, that was a fumble, Mark. That ball was fumbled right there. It's out. And Missouri is going to recover this ball in the end zone. Right there. It's going to be a touchback. Rutland recovered the football. Number 9, Jasper Simmons, stripped it out. That's going to be a touchback. Missouri's going to have the ball on the 20-yard line.
He fumbled it at about the 2. Yeah, the ball came loose.
Yeah, Mark, I mean, that's 2 turnovers for Navy in this football game.
Both in the red zone.
Correct me if I'm wrong. It was ruled a touchdown on the field, right?
Yes.
But that is indisputable evidence to overturn that call. So it's going to be Missouri's football on the 20-yard line.
Bob, we close out the decade tonight, and instant replay has been one of the new elements of the college football landscape. And overall, you'd have to say it's been a welcome addition. It's worked.
Yeah, first of all, it was a great effort by Ricky Dobbs, but clearly that ball stripped out by Jasper Simmons. And clearly, to me, it's recovered by Kevin Rutland. I think that'll be an easy overturn right there. And just a great effort by Ricky Dobbs because he was stopped at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, he made a great run before coughing it up. And if it is ruled a fumble, it'll be Dobbs' 2nd of the game.
Boy, and you talk about Navy, only 12 all year, marking 12 games. 2, as you mentioned, in the red zone. And Missouri with 2 minutes and 4 seconds and 3 timeouts once they get this football.
Well, you look at the discrepancy in total yards so far. Navy with 251 yards to just 124 for Missouri. They haven't had any problems moving the ball, the midshipmen. And that Tiger offense collecting dust on the sidelines for most of the afternoon. This last play still under review.
Mark, I don't understand what we're waiting on.
After further review, the ruling on the field was confirmed. The ball was fumbled at the 10-yard line, recovered in the end zone by Missouri. First down at the 20.
Well, the ruling on the field was a touchdown. I saw one of the officials rule touchdown.
Yeah. Regardless, Missouri now has the football, and this may be the spark Missouri needed. Navy with 43 plays in this game, Missouri with only 20. So, Mark, they've got an opportunity right here at the end of the half to take advantage of that mistake by Navy.
And as you mentioned, 3 timeouts remaining, 2:04 to go in the first half.
Look at this formation by Missouri. 5 receivers up here at the top.
They're just drawing it up in the sand right now, right?
It looks like both teams. I mean, look at this on the field.
They run the ball with Derek Washington, and there's a flag down and a fumble, but it's whistle dead.
Yeah, Mark, we're going to get holding. What are we doing?
I'm glad you said it.
I mean, what are we doing? Pre-snap to look at that offensive formation and that defensive set. I mean,
yeah, 2 down linemen up front.
Holding number 72 on the offense. 10 yards from the spot of foul. First down.
They're going to move it back a few yards. And
yeah, Mark, it's holding on Elvis Fisher, number 72. You're going to see him right here.
that was the first Missouri penalty.
Right there. You got a big old part of that jersey.
Timeout on the field. First down and 17 when we come back. It's been a frustrating afternoon for Blaine Gabbert. Back in Houston at Reliance Stadium, I'm Mark Jones along with Bob Davey and Quint Kesnich. We have a Navy challenge happening right now as a result of this play before we went to break.
Yeah, Mark, we missed this late, but watch Derek Washington coming in motion out of the Star Wars formation. Watch him fumble the football right there. I mean, that football is clearly out right there. Now the question is who recovered the football, because it's clearly a fumble. Yeah, right there, Navy.
Ram Vella,
34, picked it up. Now, if the whistle blew, he can't return that football, but he can recover the fumble. They changed that rule this year that even if the whistle blew, if it's an immediate recovery by the defensive team, the fumble stands. It looked to me obvious fumble, obvious recovery by Ram Vella. It'll be Navy's football.
that ball was definitely loose on the fumble by Washington.
Let's
right
take
here.
a look, Mark. The only question, did it come out? It's out. There's the recovery by Vella. Now, if the whistle blew, obviously it did. The ball's dead at the 22-yard line right there. It's Navy's football at the 22-yard line.
They should be back in business after turning it over in the end zone a few moments ago.
Yeah, Jabari Tawani, 98, comes in there late. Right there, watch that football come out. It's out. Now, Ram Vella picks it up. The whistle's probably blowing, but the ball's right there. What is that, the 24-yard line?
That might be what the delay is all about. They might be trying to find out where to spot it.
Yeah.
And how much time left in the first half as a result. So almost on back-to-back plays, we have
Mark,
the review. But then, Bob, I talked about it before, alluded to it. As we close out this decade, replay officials and the whole concept of being able to view videotape to get the call right has been a big addition to the landscape of college football. Do you like it?
Yeah, Mark, you bring up a great point. When we talk about things of this past decade, put instant replay review in, because it's a huge asset to the game. Now, it slows the game down. We've got a big delay right here. But to me, it obviously was stripped out. There's the Sun Belt replay in the booth. Again, here's Derek Washington. There's the hold. There's the ball out. And there's Ram Vella picking the football up. Now, you can't hear the whistle, but obviously the whistle blew. Here's the best spot, Mark, I think, to see where the ball should end up. Okay, right. That's the 23-yard line, yeah. And you talk about instant replay. If this plays out, I think both of us think it will. It's a huge play in this game.
Both coaches waiting patiently and anxiously, no doubt, on the call. Here it is.
Player fumbled the ball prior to being down. Recovered by Navy at the 23-yard line. First down, Navy there.
And Mark, before this season, once that whistle blew, all bets were off, and that would have been Missouri's football. But they changed that rule this offseason that even if the whistle blows, if it's an immediate recovery by the defensive team, it stands as a turnover.
Contrasting reactions on the sidelines. Washington, who fumbled the ball, and Vela, who recovered it, and Coach Niumatalolo of Navy. First down and 10 now from the 23-yard line of the Missouri Tigers.
Mark, that was wild. I mean, think back. Missouri started out in the 5 wide to one side. Bring Derek Washington in motion. Navy's in a defense with 2 guys with their hand on the ground. And then we have the late turnover.
Just what we thought coming in, right?
Yes.
Dobbs pulled it out of the fullback's gut and ran it, and was met by a wall of tacklers led by number 3, Jock Smith. He picked up 2 on the play. It'll be second down and about 8.
And here's what turnovers do. Navy with 251 yards offense in this game, but because of the 2 red zone turnovers, they only have 7 points. Mark, I mean, they have 250 yards offense right now in this football game.
Second and 9. On the pitch, got some good blockers out there. Curry. And Curry's going to be stopped. His forward progress at about the 12 or 13-yard line. It appears as though he has enough for the first down. A 9-yard gain with 1:06 to go in the half.
Yeah, and that time Missouri comes back, Mark. They're going to do that little blitz, but they didn't have anybody take the pitch in the secondary. This is the blitz they had the sack on, but they have no run support. Right there, they cracked the safety, number 11, Jarrell Harrison. They had nobody on the pitch.
First and 10, Dobbs stays on his feet and held on to it with 2 hands. Touchdown, Navy.
Mark, President Bush, my favorite play in football, the quarterback duck. They fake to the fullback. They bring the slot in as the lead blocker, and the play is unstoppable, Mark, against the right defense. I'm going to make President Bush a fan of the quarterback duck after this play.
If it's efficient and it works, it'll be welcomed.
Mark, I love this play. Let's take a look at it. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to see the fullback dive right here. They're going to turn out, block out. This slot back's going to come right here, and then that quarterback is going to lead right up in the hole. The quarterback duck. Watch it. Boom. Boom. And they missed a tackle. Now, that was still a strong run.
And you noticed quarterback Ricky Dobbs putting both hands on the ball, Bob, as he went into the end zone so as to not fumble like he did on the last time.
Mark, great point.
Navy with a 14-7 lead and a huge discrepancy in their favor in total yards. Talked about the quarterback duck, Bob. It's an offense that we've seen a lot this year. Georgia Tech, we've seen them twice. Paul Johnson, the head coach of the Yellow Jackets, the former head coach here at the Naval Academy. And that's where, well, Coach Niumatalolo has picked up a lot of the nuances of this offense.
Mark, that little quarterback duck play right there. When I was at Notre Dame as the defensive coordinator in 1995, Air Force ran that quarterback duck play 25 times
You still
in one
remember.
game with Blaine Morgan. And I know Lou Holtz sitting back here in the studio right now. He'll remember that game as well.
It's been a good day for the service academies. Air Force defeating Houston earlier today on ESPN. Prince. And Prince out to the 35-yard line. Let's go back to Reese in the studio.
Mark, coming up on the H&R Block halftime report, one voice has not yet been heard in the whole Mike Leach controversy, one belonging to Mike Leach. We'll hear a little bit from him coming up at the half. Also check in on the earlier bowl action from today and some Big Ten basketball. A couple of thrillers going on in the Big Ten. We'll show them to you when you come back at the half.
All right, thanks a lot, Reese. College football bowl season, Capital One Bowl week really amping up. This pass complete to Wes Kemps. Kemps with a first down and then some. Into Navy territory at the 46-yard line. Missouri working quickly now with 33 seconds to go and a 19-yard pickup.
And Missouri with 3 timeouts, plenty of time.
Missouri came into this one with a 3-game winning streak. Right now down by a touchdown, wide open Washington. Derek Washington down to the 11-yard line. A 35-yard gain. And they are getting it back in big chunks right here.
And Mark, Derek Washington out in the empty set as a wide receiver. Runs up that seam against a 2-deep coverage. How about this drive?
Gabbard going to take it himself. And he's brought down back at the 14-yard line behind the line of scrimmage by Jabari Tuini. 13 seconds to go, and Missouri calls a timeout. They now have 2 remaining.
Boy, you see, you talk about contrasts. Isn't it amazing how this Missouri offense can move it so quickly and in big chunks, where the Navy offense, the more methodical, grind it out. So, Mark, I've got to ask you, and I know the answer to this, but if you were an offensive coordinator or a head coach, would you be running that Navy offense, or would you be a little more pizzazz? I know the answer.
I'd do it. I'd do what keeps me employed.
I know, but that's the million-dollar question right there.
Depends on the parts.
It really does. And you know the biggest thing? Make a total commitment to whatever you're doing. You know, Navy's an option team. They make no bones about it. That's what they are. Missouri is this spread 5 wide look.
You know I'm a spread guy.
Do you know that? Deep down.
2nd and goal. Into the end zone and incomplete, intended for Alexander, but the pass intended behind him.
Yeah, you mentioned the ball thrown behind Emmett Merchant. The free safety. Papa Steele, the linebacker, got a little handful right there, but the ball thrown behind just a little bit.
And Missouri, Bob, using another one of its timeouts. Down to 1 remaining now on 3rd down and goal. Well, Capital One Bowl Week continues on ESPN and ABC New Year's Day with a couple of games. First at 11 a.m. Eastern time on ESPN, Northwestern tries to slow down Ben Tate and the Auburn Tigers in the Outback Bowl. Then at 1 Eastern on ABC, Joe Paterno's Penn State Nittany Lions take on Les Miles' LSU Tigers in the Capital One Bowl. Capital One Bowl Week on ESPN and ABC Saturday. There's a look at the menu of games coming up. One of them, Penn State and LSU. Penn State with 26 bowl victories, 3rd all time. Dobbs watching his counterpart, Gabbard, on the field, 3rd and goal. Into the end zone and incomplete, almost intercepted. Middleton almost had a pick.
And I'll tell you, we haven't mentioned Wyatt Middleton's name, Mark, but I think this may be the best football player on Navy's team. You know, he has a sister at Notre Dame. It's a softball player. He tried to get the football down the seam. Excellent play by Wyatt Middleton.
And now Grant Russell to attempt a field goal. He has been sparkling on the season, 24 of 25, but Navy calls a timeout.
Trying to ice him a little bit, huh?
Yeah, put him on a little bit of the cold stuff. He's made the last 14 in a row.
Yeah, exactly, Mark. I mean, it was a walk-on, right? Won the job in August. Their last kicker was the diver that came to Missouri on scholarship as well. So Gary Pinkel, very fortunate, back-to-back walk-on kickers.
This one's going to come from about 31 yards out.
Made the 27-yarder to win against Kansas. The last play of the game has not had one blocked all year.
It's 8 of 8 between 30 and 39 yards. Gabbard watching. And Coach Niumatalolo calling his last time out. We're trying to put Russell on deep freeze.
Well versed in mental warfare going on. Yeah.
That's probably another one of the prerequisites at the Naval Academy. Coach Niumatalolo, you know, talked about him being of Polynesian descent. I had a chance to ask him about being one of the minority coaches in college football, and he said that, yeah, you know, I'm proud of who I am, and if I can open doors for others, that's wonderful. My message basically is work hard and good things will happen to you. He's done some good things in his short time on the sidelines at Navy.
Well, they have 15 straight academy wins over the service academies. That is huge now.
Navy out of timeouts from 31. And he has been money going down the stretch. He's made 15 in a row, Russell has, and that makes it 14-10 at the break. Let's go down to Quint.
Coach, on your last possession, why did you feel compelled to call timeout and challenge that fumble ruling?
You know, we look close. You know what I mean? And at this point in the game, you know, you lose one timeout the first half, it doesn't hurt us. You know, but if it is a fumble, obviously it's a big momentum change, so we took a chance on it.
What were you thinking when Ricky Dobbs fumbled going into the end zone?
Well, he's such a great kid. My initial reaction is to yell at him, but I have great confidence and faith in that young man.
What's the mindset behind the two-man defensive front?
We know they're going to throw the ball. We're trying to get more guys in coverage. You know, just trying to get some guys back in coverage. They're a great passing team and just trying to slow them down a little bit.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, Quint, Navy will get the ball to start the second half. They lead 14-10 at the break. And right now we're going to toss it back to Reese, Mark, and Lou for the H&R Block halftime report. Anchors away, Reese. And welcome back, everyone, to Houston, Texas. A couple of teams trying to play like a champion today in the 4th edition of the Texas Bowl. Denario Alexander aspiring for some numbers and the ultimate victory in the second half. And Ricky Dobbs, quarterback of the Naval Academy, aspiring the same on the other side of the field. Season's greetings, everyone. From all of us at ESPN to all of you at home, I'm Mark Jones, along with Bob Davie, Quint Kesnick on the sidelines, joining us in just a few moments. Interesting first half. Missouri comes out first. Bob delivers the first blow, but then behind Ricky Dobbs, Navy got it going offensively.
Yeah, what Missouri score on the first drive, then they kicked the field goal on the last drive. But in between, it was all Navy with that consistent triple option offense led by Ricky Dobbs. You know, 275 yards offense in the first half. Honestly, if you take away the 2 turnovers offensively, Navy has dominated this football game. I mean, Ricky Dobbs, obviously excellent running the football. Strong scores right there late in the half. And Missouri, a quick strike offense. Denario Alexander, this was right off the bat, maybe the second play of the football game. A lot of offense yet to come in this game, Mark.
Denario Alexander led the nation in receiving yards, and he was shaken up on this play right there.
Yeah, took a great lick from Wyatt Middleton the safety. Navy gets the football here to start the second half. Missouri so far no real answer, Mark, for this triple option offense.
Bob, are you surprised at the number of unorthodox, quote-unquote, formations we've seen offensively by Missouri so far?
You know what? That's kind of the way they play it, Mark. You know, a lot of the empty, no back set. They'll bring the back in motion, hand them the football. I do think they could line up and probably gash Navy running the football right now. The question, can they be patient enough to do it?
Well, Tigers defense is going to be on the field first. Navy will get the kick here to begin the third quarter of play, and back deep, it's Tyke and Bo Snelson.
You talk about time of possession. Navy had that football, Mark, about 22 minutes in the first half compared to 8 for Missouri.
Alexander Tyke still on his feet out by the 47-yard line, and the midshipmen will start with good field position here in the third quarter. Let's go down to Quinn.
Guys, I spoke to Gary Pinkel as he was coming out of the locker room. First of all, offensively, really felt that Navy did a nice job with the two-man line scheme. And I asked them if it was any different from anything they've seen. They say, yeah, usually Navy plays a nose guard. Today, it's the same player, though, but he's from a stand-up position. His biggest woes defensively felt like late in the second quarter they handled the option well, but it comes down to tackling in space, he said.
Yeah, they certainly make you make those plays. First and 10 from the 48. Dobbs with a sweet reverse pivot. Brought down to the 49-yard line. Let's take a look at the pertinent and cogent numbers from the first half. The time of possession, as usual, as is custom, in favor of Navy.
Yeah, Mark, I mean, that's a bunch of rushing yards. You anticipated this, and you really anticipated this right here. What you didn't anticipate, the 2 turnovers by Navy. But it doesn't take Missouri long to score, man. So that time of possession a little bit overrated.
Dobbs back to pass. Haven't said that many times, and he completes it at the 45-yard line to Marcus Curry, who picks up 6 on the play. Remember, Ricky Dobbs was a shotgun quarterback coming out of high school in Georgia.
Yeah, but also remember, they beat Navy and never threw a pass the entire game. So he's seen it all now.
Ricky Dobbs played arguably his worst game of the season in the second last game of the year against Hawaii. Bounced back subsequently against Army in that victory.
See Missouri, Mark, jumping into that 3-4 look out of the 4-3.
They give it to the fullback, the first guy through, and that's Murray. It's going to be close, but not sure that he got it. Bob, you say this is a 4-down offense. Is this the part of the field where they would go for it still?
No question, Mark. I'll be very surprised if they don't go for it right here on 4th down. And I'll be surprised if Ricky Dobbs doesn't keep it on a quarterback follow play.
As a look at Sean Weatherspoon, number 12, the all-conference linebacker for the Tigers. Navy perfect, 1 of 1 on 4th down today. 4th and short, the toss. That's going to be a 1st down and then some. Marcus Curry with a nice burst.
Well, I tell you, they're tough to defend. I mean, you're thinking that ball is going to go inside with Ricky Dobbs as the ball carrier. All of a sudden, they get that football out here, Mark, on a quick toss sweep. And they do an excellent job, again, of blocking schemes. Right there, excellent block by the slot. Corey Finnerty, number 23. He's played a good football game.
Dobbs back to pass off the fake. Nice catch. Complete to Doyle for the 1st down. A 15-yard gain. He went high to rein it in. Ball all the way down to the 21.
The misdirection passing game, Mark. Watch right here. They're going to start option this way, and then they're going to bring Finnerty to cross on the crossing route. That is very tough when all that flow is going one way, and you have that receiver sneaking back across against the grain.
Dobbs now 7 of 12 passing for 80 yards.
back in that 3-4 defense.
They give it to the fullback, Murray. And Murray rumbles all the way to the 10-yard line for an 11-yard gain and another first down.
Mark, you can see when Missouri jumps in the 3-4 defense, Navy's going to run inside. That time they just ran the trap up in there. So right now, if you're Missouri, you got to feel like whatever we call, Navy has an answer to. And that's not just Missouri. That's just about anybody that plays them. But when you play the odd look, they're going to run the ball inside. This look, the ball's going outside.
First and goal, the toss to Curry. And Curry still on his feet, touchback. And falls just at the 1-yard line. Exasperated at perhaps a chance to get into the end zone. Geddes making the stop on the play. Actually missed the tackle on the 8-yard gain.
Yeah, we said Marcus Curry, a lot of people say the best athlete on this football team. Excellent effort right there. Had some injuries, you know, still not 100%, but a really good athlete.
Look at these Navy players on television, and then you see them down in the field. There's a huge size discrepancy between them and most of their opponents outside of the service academies.
Well, they're not going to outbench anybody or out 40-yard dash them, that's for sure. But I'll tell you what now.
Second and goal.
Ken Niumatalolo out on that field getting that timeout.
And you really mean out on that field. He was at the 15-yard line.
On the offense, number 4.
Didn't get it.
Penalty, second down.
You mentioned the fact that he played and coached with Paul Johnson here at Navy for several years. Asked him who his other mentor was. He said John Robinson. He was there at USC for 3 years, and he learned the value of treating people with class all the way from the custodians to the school president.
Yeah, he said he learned how to treat people with John Robinson when he was at UNLV with him.
On the toss. That's number 33, Doyle. Picked up 4. Third and goal coming up.
They really get the numbers advantage, Mark, on that toss sweep. I mean, that's a good change-up call for a triple option team, just getting that football out there in space. And that clock just keeps on ticking, and Blaine Gabbert just keeps on sitting over there on that sidelines.
Third and goal. Gonna pass. Touchdown, Navy. Doyle with the catch. Ricky Dobbs, and the D stands for deception. They had the defense fooled on that one.
Well, they call him Big Play Bobby. When you need a play, he's the most reliable, consistent guy. That time, Navy playing with a tight end in the game comes with a little dump pass to Big Play Bobby.
Second touchdown catch of his career, and Navy now leads 21-10. Ricky Dobbs thinking about making a run for president in 2040. Pretty good start to the campaign right here. Welcome back to Reliance Stadium in Houston, Texas for the 4th chapter of the Texas Bowl. Navy leading 21-10 with 10:04 to go in the third quarter. A very efficient drive for Navy on the last possession. 9 plays, 52 yards. And Doyle with a touchdown catch.
Look at those guys, Mark. Do they pay attention when someone's talking over there? I mean, that's some bright-eyed guys now just chomping at the bit to get back out there.
On the return, this is Jasper Simmons. And Simmons out beyond the 30 to the 35-yard line. A 25-yard kickoff return. Let's take one more look at that touchdown. What was the key here, Bob?
Well, first of all, here's how hard it is on these safeties. Here's Jarrell Harrison right here. Watch him and where he looks. He's going to suck up and play run when that ball comes down the line of scrimmage. But then big play Bobby Doyle is going to sneak in right behind him, Mark. No chance.
Let's see what Missouri does to counter here.
They don't throw it much, but when they throw it, it's effective.
Gabbert, pump fake, and he's picked off at midfield at the 50. Ross Pospisil with the interception for Navy. The team's leading tackler shows that he's got good hands, too. That's their 12th interception of the year.
Boy, Pospisil, Mark, gets a very deep drop. Watch him right here. Playing cover 2, kind of that Tampa 2 thing. He's running right down the middle of the field. What a great story. Temple, Texas, #1 tackler. Grandfather is a Naval Academy grad. Another great homecoming for a Texas high school football player.
Almost 30 of them for both teams on the rosters coming in. 1st and 10 from the 41. Dobbs gives it to the fullback, Vince Murray. And Murray stopped right near the line of scrimmage. Might have gotten a half a yard. Will Ebner making the stop for Missouri. And the one thing, Bob, when Navy gets that ball offensively, you might want to go take a nap on the sidelines because there's going to be some time that elapses.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. When Missouri gets it, they refuse to run the football. I mean, they just flat refuse to just line up and run the football.
Look at that Missouri fan's face. Kind of tells the story. It reflects what Coach Pinkel's thinking right now. 2nd and 9 coming up for Navy. Dobbs keeps it himself. Nowhere to go. Good defense. No gain on the play. It'll be 3rd down and about 9.
Mark, Missouri's had some success with that defense we just saw right there, where they walked the Sam linebacker up on the line of scrimmage and then blitz him and return the front into the boundary. That's about the best front they've had. Now, you can't do that often, but they've gotten some plays out of that.
Boy, that Missouri rush defense has given up a lot of yards today compared to what they do in the season. That mitigated by the fact that there's not a lot of rushing. This is a pass-happy conference they play in the Big 12. Ricky Dobbs on his feet.
They ran the dunk on him. Mark, it's 3rd down and 8.
Passing down, right?
And they run the quarterback duck. Again, you're going to see the fullback dive. You're going to see the lead blocker come through, and then he ducks right up in that crevice. But it's 3rd down and 8. Witherspoon gets double teamed. That is no fun, Mark.
And for Ricky Dobbs, that's his 8th 100-yard rushing game. And boy, they really blew up Witherspoon.
You having fun yet?
To the edge. This is Marcus Curry. Invariably and inexorably, this Navy offense just marches down the field. And no pun intended when I say marches, but it's like a metronome, Bob. It just tick, 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 tick. They are... The moving pieces just mesh so well.
When it's 3rd down and 8, and you get the quarterback duck for a 1st down, and then the next play you're tossing the football outside, there's a lot of things happening and trying to defend right now.
2nd down and 1. Ricky Dobbs at quarterback orchestrating this offense. Picks up the 1st down. Down to the 13-yard line. Got 4 on that carry. The time of possession in favor of Navy. That's the design. And look at the number of plays each team has run.
Yeah, I mean, that's a shocking number, but kind of what you anticipated. That's why I think when Missouri gets the football, it's going to be hard now. But they can run the football on Navy. It may be too late, though, as that clock just keeps on ticking now. Navy with Missouri with 1 play in the 2nd half of this game. It was an interception.
Wow, Dobbs on the toss. Corey Finnerty brought down inside the 10-yard line at about the 8. He picked up 5. And 2nd down and 5 to go in the clock running with 6:33 to go in the 3rd quarter. Navy leading 21-10.
In Missouri, Mark, a good defensive football team. Dave Steckel, a good defensive coach that's played against this stuff before. I mean, he was at Rutgers in 98-99 when they played Navy. Went back and got that tape. But a clinic by Navy on triple option football, and Missouri with a month to prepare.
On the toss, this is Curry. Curry stopped up. Met by a host of tacklers, no gain on that play. It'll be third down coming up. And about 6 to go. And you look at the season that Navy's had, and they said that that first game of the season against Ohio State to open it up, or early in the year to open up, really made them realize that they can compete. Coach Niumatalolo says this team is special because we're close. We've got a real brotherhood going, and our leaders are so unselfish. 3rd and 6. Dobbs on the late toss. Murray close to the first down. Let's see where they spot it. They're going to spot it right near that marker, and it appears as though he might be just inches short. 4th down coming up. Sean Weatherspoon made the play.
Yeah, good effort by Weatherspoon. He's going to go for it, Mark. I mean, this was a good effort. They come with a trap option, so he gets sucked inside a little bit, but just good athletic ability right there. Avoids the chop block.
I wonder how fatigued this Missouri defense is. They've been on the field the entire game.
Yeah, good point.
4th and 1.
That's the only way Missouri can stop that clock. And it was Navy that called timeout.
Back with more right after this. Tell you, one of the great landmarks in the city of Houston, the Galleria Mall, and that's a look at inside the mall, the huge Christmas tree and the skating rink. And right now Navy getting a good bounce offensively, and they were reviewing the last spot during the commercial break, and all parties satisfied with where the officials finally ended up placing the ball. So it'll be 4th down and short coming up for head coach Ken Niumatalolo and Navy. Sean Weatherspoon has had a tiresome afternoon. 4:37 to go in the 3rd quarter. Missouri trailing by 11. Navy 2 for 2 on 4th down tries today. You like the call they're going for it here?
Yeah, I do, Mark. No question about it. I mean, Missouri with that quick strike ability to score.
On 4th and 1. Fumble. Navy says they recovered it. Remember that Eric Douglas was ruled ineligible for this game, the starting center who started the last 4 games for Navy. So that might explain a little bit of the situation on the snap.
Yeah,
Brady Delmel starting there.
And Mark, again, a fumbled snap.
Boy, Dobbs made a heads-up play. He recovered it
exactly
and ran for the first down. They didn't make it. Coming up inches short.
Really like another turnover in some ways for Navy, Mark. You don't expect them to fumble that center quarterback exchange right there. And let's take a look. The ball comes out. And his feet are churning, but he's not going anywhere.
And one of those Missouri players grabbed him by his pants, trying to pull him back.
Wow. How about this? Missouri under center with a back in the backfield.
Take a picture of that one and keep it. This is Derek Washington picking up 7 yards. Patience is what they've been searching for offensively. Just 10 points on the board with 4:15 to go in the 3rd quarter. This from one of the most prolific offenses in the Big 12.
Well, this guy here is a big-time back. He gained over 1,000 yards last year, had over 800 this year.
Only 27 rushing yards today, and another run by Washington. Looks like he got the first down.
Mark, I can't emphasize that 4th down stop or lack of execution by Navy, how critical that was. I mean, Missouri has a legitimate chance to come back and win this football game. If Navy punched it in, it would have been extremely difficult. And here we are in the Star Wars formation. Enough with that.
You gave it a name, huh? I like that.
Enough with that. Just line up and run the ball stuff.
Washington kind of jogged his way casually to the first down, didn't he, Bob? An 11-yard gain on the play. Well, Capital One Bowl Week continues on ESPN and ABC New Year's Day. A couple of games to give you. First at 11 on ESPN, the Northwestern Wildcats taking on the Auburn Tigers in the Outback Bowl. Then at 1 on ABC, Joe Paterno and Penn State taking on Les Miles and LSU in the Capital One Bowl. Capital One Bowl Week on ESPN and ABC on Saturday. Jared Perry in motion at the top of your screen.
Navy back to their two-man down defense.
They're going to run it again, and huge gaping holes for Derek Washington. Picks up 6.
Mark, it's pretty simple to me. Run the football, throw the screens out in space against Navy. Because you can get big plays the same as you can by trying to throw it down the field. You're going to generate a big play. Just run it and throw it out there in space on the little screen.
Navy conceding 6-7 yards a plug?
I don't know, Mark, but they're definitely playing a different defense with only 2 down guys and jumping around like that. But, I mean, Missouri just throwing it every down.
And run it again. This is Moore. And Moore drilled right near that first down marker, picked up about 4 yards. Depending on the spot, he may have gotten it. Let's go downstairs to Quinn.
Joined by Dave Christensen, former offensive coordinator here at Missouri, now first-year head coach at Wyoming. Coach, congratulations on your bowl win over Fresno. How would you best describe your first season at Wyoming?
Well, it was interesting. You know, we had a football team finished last in the league, 9th in the Mountain West, and you know, for our kids to get 7 victories, get to a bowl, win the bowl, I think it was quite an accomplishment for these kids in our first year.
I want to ask you about some tactics going on in this game as Missouri throws a screen, Mark.
That pass complete to Wes Kemp, still on his feet. Kemp's got a great block, and he's still on the loose. Missouri with a huge play. Derek Washington lit up a Naval player.
Well, we talked about just throw it out there in space on these screens. But, I mean, Wes Kemp got 2 great blocks. Watch, here's the little screen. He's going to take it across the field. Now, the first one's going to come down here at the bottom, Derek Washington. Right there. The second one right there by Jared Perry. And all of a sudden, Missouri, by running the football and throwing the bubble screen, knocking on the scoreboard.
And look at Coach Christensen's reaction. He might have had that in the playbook last year when he was the offensive coordinator.
Oh, that screen's been in the playbook for a long time in Missouri.
Here's Washington inside the 5, brought down to the 3-yard line. Let's go back down to Quinn, Coach Christensen.
All it takes is a sideline interview to get the offense going. They've been facing the 2-man line all game. What are the options against Navy's 2-man front?
Well, you got to try to run the ball inside. You know, they don't have a lot of rushing yards yet, and they're doing that some. But still, they're such an explosive offense with so many playmakers. Just get the ball in your playmakers' hands and let them run with it. And that's what they're doing a little bit now.
Mark, take it.
All right, Quinn. 2nd and goal coming up.
Mark, you can't help but think about that 4th down fumbled snap by Ricky Dobbs. And the whole complexion of this game now has changed.
Washington on the run again. And he's brought down after about a yard gain. Back down to Quinn.
Coach, last question. The unique challenge. You face Air Force in your league. What's it like, the unique challenge of facing an option team?
Well, it's difficult, to shut them down. You want to try to slow them down. And Air Force runs the ball a lot more of their fullback than these guys. These guys get out in the perimeter a lot more. So, you know, they do a lot of cut block. It's difficult because you don't face it every week.
Coach, congratulations on your season.
Thanks.
Keep rooting. He's good luck for Missouri.
There's a look at the new offensive coordinator and inheriting the job, Dave Yost. Missouri, though, on 3rd down here, 0 for 5 in 3rd down situations so far today. 3rd and goal.
I bet if you're Derek Washington, you say, Coach, can I just line up in the backfield one time and carry it?
Gabbert to pass, and he's sacked back at the 13. Craig Schaefer gets to him. That's his 6th sack of the year, and he's the team leader. He's made so many key plays for Navy throughout the season. He had the key defensive play in that victory against Notre Dame in a game that they won. And what a way to punctuate the third quarter for Navy. Back for the fourth period in Texas right after this. Fourth and goal, and Missouri going for the field goal. Grant Wessels made one already from 31 yards today. This one also coming from 31 yards out. He's only missed one field goal all year. And he knocks this one through to close the margin to 8 points as we start the fourth quarter. Back to Reliance Stadium in Houston, Texas, right after this. Welcome back, everyone, and season's greetings from all of us at ESPN to all of you at home. New Year coming up in about less than 6 hours on the East Coast. In about 7 hours here in Houston.
Yeah, Mark Alexander Teach, number 39, had an excellent kickoff return the last time. Young man from right up the road in Conroe, Texas for Navy. Going to get his hands on it again, it looks like.
He's going to start off from the 14-yard line. Teach hitting the alley outside. Another good kickoff return out to the 42-yard line. He ran it back 28 yards.
So he has some speed. You know, he was the starting fullback at the beginning of the season.
Hey, Bob, Capital One Bowl Week continues on ESPN tonight. Virginia Tech taking on Tennessee in the Chick-fil-A Bowl. Capital One Bowl Week on ESPN and ESPN360.com tonight at 7:30 Eastern.
Great young running back, Ryan Williams, Virginia Tech, along with Dion Lewis from Pittsburgh. I think Ryan Williams was a redshirt freshman, right. Dion Lewis a true freshman, but he's an exciting player.
First down and 10 from the 42. Dobbs is going to pass. And it's caught. Curry. First down, Navy at the 11-yard line. A 47-yard reception by Marcus Curry.
Watch Marcus Curry, Mark, right here. The slot back comes out on a wheel route. Man-to-man coverage on Jasper Simmons. The ball underthrown just a hair. Curry looks back. Jasper Simmons does not look back. How about that throw by Ricky Dobbs, huh?
Former high school shotgun quarterback. How excited, Bob, does he get when he actually gets to throw it? He's pretty efficient at it, too. Got a player injured down to the field, and he's now the third Navy quarterback in school history to rush and pass for 1,000 yards in a season. Ricky Dobbs, the 6'1" junior out of Georgia.
When you can add that fourth element to that triple option of throwing the football, particularly down the field, it is virtually impossible to stop. Let me take a look at Jasper Simmons, injured player Mario Washington, wide receiver down on the field.
We're going to take a short timeout and come right back with more. 1st and 10 for the midshipmen when we could come back. Back in Reliance Stadium in Houston, Texas for the 4th edition of the Texas Bowl. Navy with the lead on Missouri just underway here in the 4th quarter. I'm Mark Jones along with Bob Davie and Quint Kesnich. This is Ricky Dobbs on the toss to Marcus Curry, and Curry will score.
Tell you, Corey Finnerty, another block on Kip Edwards, the corner. Missouri late all day, Mark, on perimeter run support. But I'll tell you something, Corey Finnerty, they don't keep stats maybe for those slot backs on blocks. That was an excellent block out there on the arc block.
And for Marcus Curry, that's his 5th rushing touchdown of the season and of his career. Navy's lead now up to 15 points. Midshipmen looking for their 10th win of the season.
Those slot back marks. Let's watch Corey Finnerty right here. Navy and unbalanced. They're going to arc block. This is a tough job right here for number 1, Kip Edwards. Watch this. Here comes the option. He has primary support on the pitch. He's looking in the backfield. He never looked at the blocker. I mean, that's stealing. That's stealing right there. But how about the drive by Navy? Again, the excellent kickoff return by Teach. The play action pass on first down, and then the arc option.
So how come more teams don't run this offense?
The $1 million question.
Hey, Paul Johnson's made it work in an automatic qualifying conference at Georgia Tech.
No question, and it's no question it would be successful. Just like you said you wouldn't run it. Maybe it's not sexy enough.
I've been known to change my mind.
There's a lot of reasons. Maybe you don't have 165 players on the practice field to get as many reps executing it. I don't really buy that because Paul Johnson's doing it at Georgia Tech without that many players. The bottom line, it's not considered the Star Wars offense, but I promise you, you can win with it.
Here's Simmons on the kickoff return for the Tigers, and Simmons stopped at about the 30-yard line. ABC will throw both the Rose Bowl game and the City BCS National Championship game your way. First, New Year's Day, the Ohio State Buckeyes taking on the Oregon Ducks in the Rose Bowl game presented by City. Then Thursday, January 7th, the Texas Longhorns face number 1 Alabama in the City BCS National Championship game. Rose Bowl game presented by City, and the City BCS National Championship game on ABC.
Colt McCoy.
Boy, what a stirring.
Don't count those. Everybody jumping on that Alabama bandwagon. Colt McCoy now.
Here's Gabbert. Gabbert with a nice run. Gained about 9 on the play.
I mean, Gabbert, you mentioned it, Mark. I mean, played half the season on one leg. He had that severe ankle sprain against Nebraska. I think he really gained the respect of his team. I know he did his coaches of fighting through that. You know, number 1 high school recruit in the country a few years ago at that position. Actually committed to Nebraska.
Right. There's some coaching changes there that made him reconsider and change his mind, and ultimately signing on with the Tigers here. Little bubble screen to Denario Alexander in open space. Still on his feet, breaking a couple of tackles, still, and all the way down to the 35-yard line. We mentioned earlier, that's what he gives you. A lot of yak yards after catch. Picked up 26.
Yeah, again, he picks up some great blocks out here in space. You see the tight end flexed out. Jared Perry, great job. Then he makes Emmett Merchant miss. I mean, that's their number 1 play, Mark. I mean, they average about 90 yards a game with that play.
Gabbert complete again. This is to Derek Washington, and Washington run out of bounds after a gain of about 6.
And Mark, what makes that so tough? Obviously what Missouri does, if you don't spread out and cover down defensive players on all those wide receivers, they have a numbers advantage on you, and they throw it out there with blockers with leverage. If you do spread out, they'll bring that Derek Washington back in motion as a running back and hand it. So, you know, it's just another way of a numbers game.
And here they go empty, and now they bring Washington back in.
Now they run the jailbreak.
Jailbreak to number 5, Woodland. Landis Woodland picked up about 4 on the play.
Has football changed? I mean, think about just the bubble screens, the jailbreak screens, you know, wide open, just throwing the football out there in space. That's been the biggest thing of this decade in college football.
When you look forward to the next decade, Bob, what do you see potentially as being some of the trends? Do things swing back the other way, or do they go into a dimension that we still haven't imagined yet?
It's a great question, Mark. I mean, schematically, you know, who does make the commitment to the triple option?
Yeah.
Because, you know, years ago, Missouri was way ahead of the curve with the spread. Now, all of a sudden, everybody's running the spread. Navy's the one that's ahead of the curve right now by running what they're running. And it all depends on the kind of talent you can attract and a lot of different things, though, in making that decision.
3rd down coming up and 1 to go. Say one thing about the service academies, as far as Air Force goes, 47 points today.
Yeah.
That's a lot of points on the board against Houston. Gabbert keeps it himself, and he gets enough for the first down. That's the first time they've converted on third down today. Prior to that play, they were 0 for 6.
We talked about early, so many players from the state of Texas. You know, 4 of Missouri's 5 wide receivers are from the state of Texas. And they recruit Missouri first and Texas second.
Had a lot of success coming into this territory, and during the course of the week, a lot of recruits have been on the sidelines and coaches on the sidelines for both these teams who depend on getting players from the state. This is Derek Washington gaining about 5 down to the 20.
You look at Missouri's roster. They lose Denario Alexander. They lose Sean Witherspoon, but they've got a lot of good players coming back.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to be a factor big time next year.
Tough act to follow, though, Bob, when you look at this senior class this year as the winningest class in school history as far as Missouri goes. 2nd and 5. Gabbert incomplete, intended for Jared Perry. 3rd and 5 coming up.
You know, Navy, same thing against Notre Dame. Red zone defense. Same thing against Army. You know, the bend but don't break style of defense, Mark. I mean, you're going to have to execute all the way down the field because you never get man coverage and you never get blitz.
They're in the upper 3rd in total defense and actually 20th in the country in points to gain defense. This is Derek Washington. Washington gets the first down at the 13-yard line with a 7-yard pickup. Let's go down to Quinn.
Mark, real quick, Gary Pinkel told me prior to the game that in the red zone when Navy drops 8 that Missouri was going to be committed to the run. Let's see if they can stay committed on this series.
Commitments sometimes change. 1st and 10.
Well, you know, basically the bubble screens. There's your run.
There's Gabbert, and brought down from the backside. Nice play by Craig Schaefer. Mentioned Schaefer with a sack earlier, and he was the one that made the key defensive play in that victory against Notre Dame.
Yeah, Mark, one of the few times Navy blitzes, they're going to bring Craig Schaefer. Let me see where he's going to come from. Right here. Boom. You don't see that very often, but Craig Schaefer's a playmaker now.
Yeah, arguably the most improved player defensively from the midpoint of the season on. 2nd and 12. They were waiting on that for the reception, and now they say it's incomplete at the 15-yard line. Intended for Jared Perry.
Well, you know Navy has some smart guys. I think it was Ross Pospisil. That time, Mark, he said, that's enough of that bubble screen. Watch him. I think he's right here. He's just going to run and say, that's enough. See, he jumped up in the middle of that thing, made him throw the slant for the incompletion.
3rd and 12, the 11th play of the Tiger drive. You would imagine with the time of the situation, they'd go for it on 4th down.
And Missouri in a 4-by-1 empty set. They go to the one receiver
into the end zone. Caught, but incomplete. Intended for Alexander, who was working against Kevin Edwards. Edwards, Navy's best lockdown corner.
Yeah, Mark, he played against Golden Tate. He's played against SMU. I think this was an excellent call. They come back to the one receiver side. Yeah, easy call.
An easy call to go for it on 4th down coming up.
Yeah, this is interesting. You know, they would make it, what, a 12-point game. Probably a good decision to go for it right here.
4th and 12.
Better find 81, huh? Denario Alexander in the slot right there.
Gabbert with time. Incomplete. He wasn't even close. And the midshipmen take over on downs. Jackson, the intended receiver.
Red zone defense. We just had that graphic up there. They make you execute. They give you nothing. And now the the grinded out offense is back on that field.
Look inside the Hyatt Hotel here in Houston. Bob, you get the feeling that preparing for a big event coming up in about 5.5 hours on the East Coast and 6.5 hours here in the Central Time Zone in Houston. First down and 10 for Navy, leading 28-13. 10:48 to go in the fourth quarter here in the fourth edition of the Texas Bowl. Ricky Dobbs keeps it himself. And Ricky Dobbs still on the loose. Great footwork. Tiptoes out of bounds with a first down at the 41. Navy looking for its 10th win of the season. And Bob Davie, if they do that, it would be just the third time in school history that they would win 10 games. And it really elevates them, like you said at the top of the show, they're no longer this little cute underdog anymore.
Does not matter. I mean, they've beaten Notre Dame 2 out of the last 3 seasons. Had not beat them in 43 years. They've been to 7 straight bowl games, Mark. Just like we said, does not matter who they play. Take that underdog tag off. I mean, they are a good football team now.
This is a toss to Marcus Curry. And Curry gets to Missouri's side of midfield. When you look at the Missouri Tigers right now, who they came in their 3rd consecutive bowl game, looking for their 3rd consecutive bowl win. What do they do to stem the tide a little bit now?
It's hard now because they really abandoned the run on that last series when they got in the red zone. You know, the very thing Gary Pinkel told us they would do against this Navy red zone defense. Mark, they're just going to have to sling it now. But the first priority, they have to find a way to stop this Navy triple option. And so far they haven't, other than Navy turning it over 3 times themselves in the red zone. So, I mean, Missouri in deep, deep trouble right now.
Dobbs keeps it himself. Falls forward to the 42-yard line. And, Bob, I want to take the opportunity as the clock continues to wind down to thank our entire staff here. It's been a really great year of college football here for our crew. Jeff Evers, our director, Bruce Clark, our producer today, Seth Jacobson, our spotter, Steve LeBeau, our statistician, Mike Black, our booth assistant as well. And at this time, a special thanks to Kim Belton, our producer, who was unable to be with us today because he lost his mother, Ethel Belton. Ethel, a big supporter of ours at ESPN throughout the years.
Also, Aladdin Freeman, who thinks he's a wishbone fullback, who's licking his chops down there in that truck right now. Here it comes again.
This is Green. And why do you think we're getting so many replays of that fullback play, Aladdin Freeman in the truck?
Well, you know, today, in all honesty, Mark, it's been the perimeter option. If you remember back early in the game, I talked about Missouri playing kind of a 4-deep look secondary, trying to rotate on the snap of the ball who had run support. The ball has been in on the perimeter all day today by Navy.
First down and 10, under 9 minutes to go. 8:40 here in the fourth quarter. Dobbs keeps it. Down to the 22-yard line. Brian Coulter making the stop up front.
I tell you, these Navy slot back marks, you know, Ricky Dobbs gets a lot of attention, as he should, but they're slot backs. I mean, Marcus Curry, 28. We take a look at G.G. Green right there. Corey Finnerty, 23. These 2 guys right here have had an excellent day. I mean, Curry, 5 catches for just about 100 yards, almost 100 yards rushing. Finnerty, he doesn't touch the ball much. He's kind of the designated blocker, 23, but their slot backs have played extremely well.
Dobbs hands it off to the fullback, Vince Murray, who's closing in on that 1,000-yard rushing mark for the season. Got a few on that one. Marcus Malbrough making the stop for the Tigers, but Murray picked up 6. Murray, an interesting story. He was the number 2 guy before Alexander Teach was injured, and that opened the door for Murray to really hold down that starting job. But what about the great coaching job by head coach Ken Nui Matalolo in his 2nd year, looking for his first bowl win here tonight. 3rd and 2.
They're going to use that clock now, frustrate Missouri even more.
Ricky Dobbs, that might have been a broken play, although with Dobbs you can never tell.
That wasn't a broken play. But I tell you, he is strong, Mark. I mean, that was the blocking scheme. They brought the fullback. They faked the toss sweep. They had Murray, the fullback, go block the end guy on the line of scrimmage. Watch right here. They're going to fake the toss, but watch the fullback, Murray, pin the defensive end. Then he runs through the tackle right there of number 25, Xavier Gooden.
That was Dobbs' 27th rushing attempt. That is a bowl record.
Well, you know, if they run 70 plays, Ricky Dobbs is going to get hit 60 plays in the football game. I mean, they've actually done research on that. Wow. So, I mean, he's going to get hit every play.
That time he falls forward down to the 5-yard line.
But, you know,
2nd and goal coming up.
We talk about big wins for Navy. You talk about Notre Dame, but the biggest win is Army. They've beaten Army 8 straight. You know, you go in their weight room at Navy, every weight in the weight room has beat Army on it. So there's a lot of big wins. There's none bigger than beating Army. And I'll tell you, Army's getting better now.
Yep. Saw a lot of those Beat Army t-shirts in our hotel lobby this morning. Under 6 minutes to go in the 4th quarter, 2nd and goal. A frustrated picture on the sidelines for Missouri. Toss to Doyle. And he's brought down just shy of the end zone inside the 1. Bobby Doyle, who already has a touchdown reception today. Almost had a touchdown run. 3rd and goal coming up.
Yeah, Bobby Doyle gets the carry, but watch right here, Mark. The block again by the slot back. Just arcing and just too soft run support. Marcus Curry that time blocking for the other slot.
From 6 inches outside the goal line. 3rd and goal. Dobbs, oh boy, he was met. Still no signal, and they're going to mark it short. Oh, and now a late signal, touchdown.
He is strong. Lower body, he has great strength.
Yeah, he got in.
You hear that anchors away. This guy right here is so sick of hearing anchors away, Mark, because he's obviously a Missouri fan, but one of the great fight songs in college football. Quarterback follow play. Weatherspoon puts a lick on him. Strong legs. Let's see if the ball got in, Mark. I thought it did. Yeah. Ball across that plane.
The extra point good, and the lead now 35-13. And Ricky Dobbs with his 3rd rushing touchdown, setting a bowl record. The Naval Academy flexing its collective muscles when we come back. When you look at the midshipmen doing push-ups on the sidelines, it gives you the feeling that our military security is in pretty good hands, especially with the execution, Bob Davie, on the field today. A lot of these midshipmen will, after this game here, some of the seniors anyway, all of the seniors will be deploying to various destinations around the country and continue their military careers and fulfill their commitments.
That says it all right there, that trio. They've seen about all that triple option, and they've heard enough anchors away to last them a lifetime.
Wes Kemp's back deep for the Tigers at the 7. Kemp with a nice cutback, brought down to the 37-yard line. Well, Capital One Bowl Week continues on ESPN and ABC New Year's Day with a couple of games. First at 11 a.m. on ESPN. Northwestern tries to slow down Auburn in the Outback Bowl. Then at 1 Eastern on ABC, Joe Paterno's Penn State Nittany Lions take on Les Miles' LSU Tigers in the Capital One Bowl. You know, Capital One Bowl Week on ESPN and ABC on Saturday.
Those are 2 really good games.
Yes, sir.
I mean, Northwestern, Auburn, that's intriguing. Yeah. I mean, 2 really good offensive schemes.
There's Gabbert passing complete to Kemps. And speaking of turnaround years, boy, what a success story this year for Gene Chizik in Auburn.
Great year. you know, coming in really under duress from the moment he took the job, but has really won the respect, I think, of Auburn fans and players, and they've had a good year.
A lot of controversy when he was signed. Gabbert under a little bit of duress. Incomplete and almost intercepted after several caroms. Sets up a 3rd down and 2. Let's go down to Quint on the sidelines.
Guys, this game ends a terrific senior season for Denario Alexander, a year which he averaged 137 yards a game. And I wanted to get Coach's opinion. You watched him in warm-ups. What do you think is in store for him in terms of NFL?
I think a lot depends just on the overall health of that knee, Quint. You know, 3 knee surgeries on the same knee. He's had a good season where he's remained durable. There's no question when you stand down there on the field, he has the physical ability to be a player in the NFL. You have to love the fact he has fought back through those injuries. I think he has a bright future, but the biggest question when it comes to draft status is going to be that health.
At one point, a very dynamic, explosive athlete, had a 42-inch vertical jumper, 26-foot long jumper in track and field, but unable to hang on to the pass that time. Certainly has the size, though, Bob, at 6'5", 215 pounds.
No question about that. And, you know, I know what a frustrating day it is for Missouri and their fans, but I'll tell you, when you draw Navy in a bowl game, it's no treat. And Gary Pinkel, they won their last 3 games of the year. Was meant to be a rebuilding year. I think they're going to be a good football team next year.
Second in the Big 12 North this past season. That pass complete to Lawrence.
And you look at Blaine Gabbert, you start looking at the Big 12, Mark. You know, Jared Johnson at A&M back, Blaine Gabbert. There's a lot of quarterbacks graduating in the Big 12. And he has a chance, I think, to be the best quarterback in the Big 12 next year.
Well, he's carved his own identity this year, and it all started when Coach Pinkel set the table for him. And pass complete here to Alexander again, still on his feet and brought down at the 33. But early in the year, Coach Pinkel sat him down and said, listen, I want you to be Blaine Gabbert. I don't want you to be Brad Smith or Chase Daniel.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Mark. A great story, because he's kind of not a laid-back guy, but, you know, Chase Daniel was a fiery, competitive jump-around guy. And here's the guy down right here. I believe that's 34, Ram Vella, who has had an unbelievable career at the Naval Academy.
An undersized linebacker at 5'9", 193, but a huge game. Back with more when we come back. Okay. Don't forget, coming up next, it's the Chick-fil-A Bowl. Virginia Tech looking for its 10th win of the season against Tennessee. That's coming up at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time in the Chick-fil-A Bowl. And College Football Live is coming up next. Gabbert completes it to Alexander. And he's tackled at the 14. Bob, what about the season that Tennessee's had? They've come a long way in a year. Last year, they weren't even in the bowl conversation. This year, Lane Kiffin doing a pretty nice job there in Knoxville.
Well, he's had him in the headlines.
Oh, he has.
He's been in the headlines.
For different reasons. 3:20 to go. Gabbert to pass and sacked. Back at the 27-yard line by Pospisil.
Yeah, Pospisil. What a great way to end your career, Mark. We mentioned Temple, Texas. Maybe the best captain they've ever had at Navy.
All the way back to the 27. It's 2nd and 22. Incomplete and intercepted. Middleton. And he's thinking about 6. Wyatt Middleton tackled at the 27-yard line. That ball seemingly off the heel of Jared Perry.
Mark, we have to talk about Buddy Green, the defensive coordinator from Navy. I mean, they have had an outstanding season. And the difference I see in this Navy football team from over the past years, they have a talented secondary. Wyatt Middleton, Blake Carter, Kevin Edwards, they have some talent in that secondary. But this guy right here, Buddy Green, has done a phenomenal job with this defense at Navy. I mean, they are what they are, and you have to execute to beat them.
Ricky Dobbs captaining the ship still. Down to the 24-yard line. 2.5 minutes to go. Weatherspoon making the tackle.
I'll tell you who's having fun are those midshipmen that made that trip down here.
Oh, you can hear them all through our hotel lobby, too. Coming up next, it's College Football Live on ESPN News. You can catch our post-game extra, and over on ESPN360.com, you can see the live trophy ceremony. And this the 4th chapter of the Texas Bowl. 2:04 to go. Navy has systematically and surgically taken apart that Missouri defense. Dobbs on the toss to Curry, gets to the edge, and another first down. A popular refrain on the afternoon. And our Capital One player of the game is Ricky Dobbs with 130 yards passing and a touchdown. And you add that to 166 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, I'd give it. I'd also that, and I'd divide it up between those slot backs. And then I'd give a little bit to that secondary of Navy. I mean, it is a total team effort. See, they don't just totally dunk you. They're a little more respectful over there, the Navy guys. They just gave them a little splashing of that Gatorade.
1st and 10.
Number 4, 5-yard penalty. First down.
One more look at how they.
Oh, they got him.
Oh, yeah, that's not just a little splash.
Yeah.
But you see, he's got the waterproof Navy SEAL gear on, you know.
I don't know.
High-tech Navy
It's
stuff.
got that Nike swoosh on it. It's everywhere, right?
Guess it's not government issue. Got a new quarterback in the ball game. Ricky Dobbs has gone to the sidelines. Chris Proctor in the ball game.
It doesn't matter sometimes who they put in.
Actually, Greg Singler back there. Hey, Reese, does Lou Holtz remember those 25 quarterback duck plays against Air Force?
Anytime it's a running quarterback, Coach remembers it, and that's why he loves Tyrod Taylor. He's 14th in the nation in passing efficiency, dangerous with his feet as well. Hokey, hokey, hokey high, getting set for the balls after College Football Live.
All right, back here, 2nd and 14. Navy in the victory formation, which is a safe bet right now, leading 35-13. And with time winding down, once again, I want to thank all of the talented people behind the cameras as we wrap our year up here on our college football crew, Bob. A lot of talented people behind the scenes that you never get a chance to see.
Mark, you're exactly right.
And Happy New Year, man.
Yeah, same to you. Yeah. Same to you. I'm driving over to San Antonio for the Alamo Bowl.
I'll be making my way to Memphis for the AutoZone Liberty Bowl.
And how about these Navy guys? I mean, just a couple days off, Mark. They get a chance to go home, relax. They certainly deserve it. A great, convincing win by Navy.
Navy with a 10-win season for just the 3rd time in school history, and head coach Ken Niumatalolo in his 2nd season with his first bowl win. And let's go downstairs to Quinn.
Coach, congratulations. What ultimately made the difference in that ball game, Coach? Good job, man.
I thought our kids battled. You know, we had talked all week about finishing. You know, we had gotten to this point, but haven't been able to win some bowl games. And just our whole rally this whole week was just finished. And I thought our guys and our young men did a great job.
How do you best characterize the play of Ricky Dobbs?
He's a resilient kid. You know what I mean? He had some fumbles and had some miscues, but he's such a great young man. And, you know, he just continues to battle. He's like our team. He just keeps coming back, and just a great young man.
10-win season for only the third time in school history. What does that mean?
Well, I'm proud of our team, proud of our seniors. To send our seniors off this way, couldn't be better. This is it.
Congratulations, Coach. Mark.
All right, thanks a lot, Quint. And Ricky Dobbs, 9 of 14 passing for 130 yards. He really controlled the tempo of this game. Once again, the final score, Navy winning 35-13. College Football Live is coming up next. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Bob Davie and our entire production crew, I'm Mark Jones. Happy New Year, everybody. Right now, we're going to send it back to Reese, Mark, and Lou back in the studio. Guys?